Welcome back, lads and gents, to our NRL Fantasy Analysis wrap-up podcast for the week here. And we've got some great news and we've got some bad news. The great news is the Warriors won back home. Incredible. Loved it. Secondly, the Guns are out. Thirdly, we don't have the scoring updated properly. For some reason, I try to clear my history again, get rid of all the bad stuff, but hasn't worked out. So we're going to push on. It's fine for all the other games, but just these two on Sunday. But it is what it is. So I've got my own stats here on the phone, ready to go here and go through that. But yeah, really happy for the Warriors to get their win. Sad times for Tigers. Obviously, it's very unlucky for them to have to go over to New Zealand for their first game back and cop that loss there. But it is what it is. They obviously didn't play great either. Anywho, Thankyou, incredible game again. So up 38k. It is all updated now for our Monday morning. And Thankyou has got another 70. He's up to 731k, 84 points there, which was pretty incredible. And we obviously didn't even get a try from him. 70 minutes was his one. 58 tackles and 140 meters to go along with an offload and 3 tackle breaks was the big one for him. And he's continues to show why he's an absolute gun at the moment. And incredible that this has come out of absolute nowhere. Like, he wasn't this type of player with the Broncos and even the last couple of years here with the Tigers, and he's come out and shown his absolute dominance. So there'll be a few people picking him up this week, that's for sure. Price just above 50 now. He's averaging that as well. So don't expect 80s on a regular basis. But with Twiley out, we thought he'd have a pretty big game, and obviously exceeded that there. Johnson had a great game, 71 points for him, but he's not obviously fantasy relevant. Tohu Harris, thank goodness that he come out with a bang on his return back to Warrior Land, and he was great. Got a try, got the 68 points. So the tackles was his big one, up there with 137 meters, the 4 tackle breaks, the 37 tackles. So close to back to normal. But he used to be a guy that was 45, 50 a week. And this was a lower scoring game. Obviously, they had the ball a little bit more given they got the 22 points. But generally, he's someone that does get a lot more tackles. And that's actually what Mr. Ewan Aiken did this week. And for those that sold him, myself included, you're pretty upset. Obviously, the 67 points and the 49 tackles and 4 tackle breaks to go along with some much better meters compared to what he's used to. He's been a lot, very much well under the 100 meter mark, and got 105 yesterday and did a great job. Lukey Garner, for anyone that owns him, he got the 50, which was great. Generally just a consistent base stats game for him. Joshy Curran with 49. So again, someone to think about post Origin week. They obviously have the bye upcoming here at 628k. He comes in as an intriguing option who's going to be playing on the edge. So he definitely has plenty of these high 40s in him. So just be aware of that if you're looking to pick him up. Fanua Blake had a really damaging run, but he's playing off the bench and not someone we want to look at touching. Manu Brown, just the reason why I didn't speak about him last week is just the awkward price at 303. What an incredible band that is. But 327 now. And, a decent 41 in the minutes that he played. And you haven't got Little on the bench now, which is obviously helpful for him. He was in 18th man on the weekend. So, Faamanu, just an awkward price if you're looking to pick him up. Similar with Tuolangi now. So he's going to start to make money. Now he's got that 38. If he continues scores like that, he will make a bit of cash. But the main issue with him is the fact that he's at 355. So it's hard to use him as a cash out. And you're going to have to be trading him out again once he makes that 100k or whatever we think he could make. So that's the main issue with him, and that's why I spoke about just potentially avoiding him unless you have a lot of trades in the bank and you can bring him in now and you could move him on following that. Volkman with the 38, so really happy with his output if you picked him up. Our People's Squad did, and we'll take that 35k in gains. Obviously, not playing in 17 is the main worry. And it's a bit of like, the People's Squad, because it had a bunch of extra trades, are looking to use him as a potential cash cow to trade out in like a 20 or a 21. If we have some injuries and stuff as well, we can move a few players around and go from there. Dewey played some decent minutes. He's going to keep losing cash. Just wait until he gets a starting role before we look at picking him up. Hastings, for those that are holding him, another 29k down and down to 510 now, which is pretty upsetting. For anyone who owns him, Uto Ikamanu, is down to 376k. So he's probably going to be more of a guy that we're looking at for next year rather than this year. And no one really else to select or talk about in this one. So we move to the last game of the round, which ended up being a bit of a slugfest, obviously in the rain, which is what we kind of thought of. And we start off with Joey Tarpany, and he's just continuing to have incredible games. He's got the 68 minutes this week, which was very interesting. And you look at the minutes split, and Josh Papali'i played the 37, We had, Wolford splitting his time with Starling, which is normal. Chan's only playing the 6 minutes, who did come on for Savage right at the end, which is very interesting because Xavier, obviously being an attacking threat, I'm surprised that they took him off. And they decided to start with Sutton, and that's just obviously so frustrating. It didn't matter in the end, thankfully, because Elliot is just an absolute superstar at the moment. But why Elliot isn't playing the 66 minutes that he was the last few weeks and just absolutely dominating. When he was on the park again yesterday, he was so dominant, ran the ball so hard, just offloading and tackle busting at will there. 5 tackle breaks and 2 offloads, no missed tackles, and some lovely PCMs at 44 there. So he was terrific. You had Horsburgh playing his normal minutes. So yeah, just Tarpany is the one that got the big ones this week, which was very interesting and great to see if you owned him. And he's obviously clearly going to be a top selection as a top gun for the rest of the season, which is crazy because he's never been super consistent. And maybe that changes now, but I think that he's one of the only guys in that. I don't know how do we say it though, because Elliot got put back to the bench. There's every chance Tarpany could too. I'm not gonna comment anymore on these guys. Hudson Young just continuing to go strength to strength as well. He's been averaging an incredible amount the last bunch of weeks. Jackie Bird surprisingly got a really, really good score this week. He did get the 1 try assist, but for him, it was more around the tackles this week, which was strange. Had the 42 tackles, which is not something that he does on a regular basis there. We had him with some big score, and you look at all these guys on the edges / middle there with Birdie, Sims, McCulloch, Amone, Sua, and also Sully and Hunt getting that mid-40s to 50 scores, which obviously involved a fair few tackles, being a back and forth 12-10 low scoring type of game. If you still own Amone, now might be the time to move him on. You get that 31 in gains, and you can move him and drop him down to a 220 and get that and bank that 230k, which would be pretty cool. Right, we move along. So Benny Hunt, if you still own him, it could be time to move on now. I don't think he's going to be a keeper in the grand scheme of things, and that's probably the main issue as to why you would move him on. Jackie Whiten with 45. We had Horsburgh, who's done a great job for you and gained a fair bit in cash, and it could be time to move him on as well, heading into round 17. But with the lack of gun options, it could be down for a cash out and using that cash in 18 or 19 to really dominate. But we'll speak about that a fair bit more in analysing teams. And we'll be talking with Scoop again on Wednesday night. We'll talk a lot about the cash outs and how we get a lot of those guns into your side. So stay tuned for that one. Hopefully out later on a Wednesday evening. Considering we have... How many games are going to be played on... I cleared all my history, so now it doesn't come up that easily. Where are we? NRL. We play on Friday? I'm sure we do. Anyway, I'll keep going this while it's loading. Savage, 37. So now he's gained that 40k extra. We're up to 415 now. And is it time to move him on? It potentially could be. We've got Charles Nickel-Cookstar, who did take the 6 minutes off him only. And Savage scoring a try is going to help his cause, but he obviously did have a couple of errors in his game also. Do you decide to hold him through 17 or do you trade him out now? The question could be that if you're just going to hold him and see what happens in round 18 in terms of those team lists, I think that's a pretty solid idea or a way to think about it as well. And you can base it off that and play accordingly because he does have a little bit more cash to make. He hit a 37 this week, still gaining 40, so break even's nice and low. And can continue doing a job for you, but also might lose his spot and be back on the bench and then start losing you cash, which would be not ideal at all. Papali'i with a 35, so the low minutes for him was strange, but I suppose Tarpany was out there killing it and could do a job as well. Foggs with 34, so with Whiten back, he loses a fair bit of his juice, I think. Personally, I've spoken about that the last bunch of weeks. We see Starling down to 486 again. The amount of ups and downs that bloke has on a regular basis, on a yearly basis, is just crazy. Cody Ramsey with 21. So unfortunately, got the lower one for him. But it's going to be harder in this type of wet weather for him to come out and dominate, which you saw with guys like Fainai and also Ravalawa. Kotrick was low on as well. Tomoko and Mbai, obviously, with lower minutes as well. All had lower scores, which makes complete sense. And Chansey Boy's getting real cheap, which is interesting. He could end up being a cash out at some point, which would be pretty funny, especially with Rapana too. He's gone down heaps, considering he was a keeper last year as well. So that's that wrap-up video for the last 2 games. Sorry there weren't the stats up there. You should be able to check it out on the NRL app. Anyway, just it's a bit harder to go through that on there. But let's talk. Oh, we actually do have the Thursday game. So one Thursday, one Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Cool. So we'll get out that video hopefully Wednesday night. You can pump that. over that night and into the rest of Thursday. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. Hit like, subscribe. I appreciate that. If you're seeing these videos a bit late, hit that notification bell as well. That'll be really, I'd really appreciate that. And we'll catch you in the next few videos, guys. We'll be going through our round results, which was a bit up and down as per usual at the moment. It's been a tough couple of weeks, but I hope it's been good for you guys. And that's the main point of this, is to give you the advice that you need to dominate this league. So well done, guys, and enjoy the rest of the week.